Hey guys, welcome back to Ollie Talks Airsoft. Today we're talking some baller shit. So in front of me today we've got an EoTech. This is not an Airsoft replica, this is a genuine EoTech. This particular model is an EXPS2-0 in green. So let's just get on with it. First off, nice box, EoTech, well done on that. The site will obviously never go back into this box, but you know, it's nice that you do provide a good one. In here we've got the quick reference card. It basically tells you a little bit about the Optic, how to mount it, how to install the battery and things like that. You get a cool EoTech sticker, very nice. You get your registration cards and your product warranties and all that kind of crap that we just don't care about. So let's chuck all that in here, let's get rid of that, and let's take out the bit that we actually want to look at. So, right, let's get rid of that. Okay, so this is the site. So what makes this different to most of the other sites out there on the market is, if you know anything about EoTechs, they're holographic. So a normal reflex site, so I have an Airsoft site here. So actually I've got a few examples. This is an EXPS, this is an XPS, and this is a 552. So these are all real steel optics. This is an Airsoft one. Being that it's an Airsoft channel, might as well have an Airsoft one to look at as well. Although, in my experience, they're not very good. So let's have a quick look and see what you get with this. So an EXPS2-0 is a lower 1/3 co-witness optic, and it is also designed for use from the Magnifier, which is why the buttons are on the side rather than at the back here. So if you look at something like this is an XPS2. This isn't a green one, this is a red one, but this actually has a thumb screw attachment rather than the QD. And you'll notice that it actually sits at a slightly different height, and you will notice that on your rail. So this is a lower 1/3, this is an absolute. If you've already got your setup and you know exactly what you want, then you're going to know which of these sites you're going to want to pick up. And these are basically the newest offerings from EoTech. So they moved away from this sort of 552 style. I believe it was something to do with the recoil impulse, and the direction of the batteries meant that under heavy recoil, the site could actually either turn itself off, and historically they had a bit of thermal drift, which is not important for airsofters at all. We don't shoot long enough distances for that really to make a difference. But the lower parallax that you get on holographic optics than you get on a standard red dot, it really does translate, and that's kind of useful because the parallax is most prevalent at sort of 50 meters or less, and actually in airsoft most of your shooting is going to be done at 50 meters or less. So having any kind of optic where it's got a reduced parallax is really going to help you out. So let's first off, let's just look at this one. So this basically works the same as any other red dot sight. So in here you can see we've got a red, and if you press the NV button it goes green at its own discretion. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It does have a few different brightness settings on here. But as you can see, most of what you can actually see when you're trying to look through is the reflection of me. There's me. You can see the top of my head. So that's a problem. Every time I've taken this out and tried to use it in game, I've spent most of the game looking at a reflection of my eyeball from here, which is great. And as you can see here, from the front, you can see the LED. And all reflex sights, so, you know, a Trigicon MRO, you know, all the way down to like a cheap GMP optic, they're all going to have exactly this issue where you can see the light at the front as well as through the back. So to be honest, this Airsoft optic runs at about 50 quid. They're not too bad for a bit of daylight shooting, sorry, for a bit of nighttime shooting, but as soon as you have any reflection for the daytime, then it's useless. So let's move on to the real meat and potatoes of this. So after basically discovering that an Airsoft EoTech is a bit shit, I found one of these discounted. I picked it up for like £200. This is the 552 version. So if I just turn it on, I'll power this right up to the maximum brightness setting, which is here. So I was actually led to believe that EoTechs were retina burningly bright. This one is currently at the maximum setting that it can get to, and that's how bright it is. So, and you can see there's a massive amount of red at the top here where it's reflecting off the mirrors and the lasers are bouncing around. Again with this one, because it isn't Airsoft, it's using Airsoft games, I've got a sight protector on the front here, which is causing quite a lot of reflection. Exactly the same can be said on my on my XPS here. Again, we've got a Lexan screen protector because I don't want this optic to get shot out, although apparently EoTech are actually pretty reasonable with their returns like that. But if we have a look at this one, that's how it would normally come to you. So you can see it's a perfectly clear window. The way that EoTech describe it is it should be like looking through the windscreen of a car, or the windshield, as they say in America. So as you can see, it's pretty good here. But the most important thing, or probably the reason that you're watching this, is because we're looking at the green one here. So when you power this optic on, so currently it's turned off, you can either press the downwards button and it will power on for 4 hours, or you can press the upwards button and it will power on for 8 hours. And once the optic is pressed on, it will turn on at brightness setting number 12. So that is 12. I would say that's probably a little bit too bright for today, personally. Trying to get it to focus through the camera. Almost. Yeah, that gives you a pretty good idea. But it has 20 brightness settings, so let's just 8 clicks. That should be at the maximum brightness setting there. And it certainly appears to be so. Now, that is incredibly bright. So bright, in fact, that it actually reflects green backwards onto my hand, as you can see there. You also looks very cool, but you also get, you see the laser and the mirrors and stuff in there making the whole system work. And when I tip it up to here, you can see the reticle looking the wrong way through an EoTech. However, that's not going to give you away to an enemy or something like that, because at the point that you're using it on this kind of brightness, it's going to be so bright outside that there's no way that anyone's going to see that. So I'm going to put it on the setting that I would have it on. It's a May Day today, so it's relatively bright. So that's about halfway. So we're on setting 10 there, and that's probably about where I would choose to have it. So as you'll know, with all EoTechs, the reticle does appear fuzzy, and it's because it's essentially lasers reflecting back into your eye. And when you focus on the actual target itself, at whatever distance in the future, this reticle actually projects itself through your eye on the same focal plane, so it makes it very easy for you to acquire targets. So one thing that I did notice with this, it's basically the same brightness as you would get from a Red XPS model. So again, this is turned on at level 12, and if I just go down 2 settings, so these are both now on level 10, and if we just compare them directly, you can see that I would say the green actually appears to be a little bit brighter, albeit a little bit fuzzier, and that is something that you do notice when you're looking through the optics. Now, I saw that Garand Thumb had done a video on this, and a few other people have done videos on the green EoTechs, and they also note that the green reticle does appear to be a little bit fuzzier, and I can attest to that. It really does appear to be that little bit fuzzier. However, as soon as you put a 3x magnifier behind, that kind of all goes away, and the reticle really cleans up. So if you stick around to the end of this video, I've taken some pretty crappy footage, but it does show the fuzziness of the green reticle compared to the red, and also how they both clean up as soon as you put a 3x magnifier behind them. So the 3x magnifier that I use is actually this 3x Vortex. It's their micro 3x. I've actually found it to be really good, although I would say beware of fakes, especially if you're going to be running something like this on a gas blowback rifle. My heavy recoil setup for my M4 actually destroyed my Airsoft one of these. It wasn't the same model, it was just a sort of generic 40 quid 3x magnifier, but yeah, after about 6 months it shook itself apart essentially, and I fired one trigger pull too many, and the entire optic kind of tilted itself up like that, and I realised that yeah, it was broken. So hence the move over to a real steel 3x. And yeah, when used in conjunction with either of these, obviously I've currently got it set up on a lower 1/3 co-witness, as you can see by the little spacer that's been put in there, and that basically means that it fits up absolutely perfectly with this. And at the end I will also show you me fitting this onto the rifle. This is going on my Geisley 13-inch, which so it's a 14.5 MWS Taken Marie gas blowback rifle that this is ultimately going to go on, and this one, or these two, are essentially for my more CQB, where I'm going to have a slightly lower head position, and this is for where I'm going to be shooting a little bit further with a magnifier, and I'm going to have a slightly more heads up position. So probably the last thing that I would note between these two models, other than this one's a little bit heavier, a little bit chunkier, it's a lower 1/3, so it sits a little bit higher on the rail. The actual reticles itself, I think both of these models can be obtained in green, so you can certainly get this one in red if you wanted to. And I'm not really sure of the price difference, to be perfectly honest. I know that certainly brand new, these are very expensive. I did get this new, but I managed to find it at a discount, so I did not pay the full price, the full retail price for this, because I've not made the money. I couldn't afford to, but it did come up at a price that I thought was actually pretty reasonable, so I bit the bullet and went ahead and did it. Another thing to consider also, obviously I think most people will consider me slightly mad for running this kind of optic on an airsoft gun. I actually see these as being a bit of an investment. This sort of, you buy it for 30-40 quid. If it survives, you might be able to sell it on for half that, whereas I know that with this, and the amount that I paid for it, I'd probably be able to sell it on for exactly the same that I paid for it. So for me, I kind of look at this as being a bit of a free optic, as long as I don't damage the lens or get anything broken on it. So one of the last bits to say is, weirdly, on the XPS, you get clicky buttons. Sorry, on the EXPS you get clicky buttons. On the XPS, they're silent, which is a bit weird. I'm not entirely, don't entirely know why that is. And also, if you're wondering about the colour difference, I did, this one's grey. I did actually pick up a grey one because I thought it was cool. And hey guys, that's mostly what Airsoft's all about, isn't it? So yeah, I just wanted to bring you this like super cool baller unboxing of a green EoTech, because there's not that much information out there about them. So all I'm going to say is, the reticle is fuzzier than a standard red EoTech, no question. But as soon as you put a magnifier behind it, I can't see any difference between the red and the green. I got this yesterday, so I've been trying to think about why that might be. And the only thing that I can think of, it's something to do with maybe astigmatism in my eye that's causing me to have more of a blooming issue on the green than the red, and also the fact that they say your eye picks up green 6 times faster than it does red. I'm not a scientist, so I don't know whether that's true or not, but I'll take EoTech's word for that, and I can say that certainly after putting this on a rifle and picking it up, it's very, very fast to acquire the green donut of death. So you've got your standard 68 MOA ring and your 1 MOA fine dot, and yeah, it's sharp, but I do think the red is slightly sharper, but the green is still cooler. So I mean, take your pick, innit? What do you want? A super sharp image, or do you just want to look awesome and super cool when you're out shooting your replica guns? I don't know, guys. For me, I just thought it was super cool. When I first saw these were coming out, I was like, I've got to have it. I saw one of them at the English shooting show a couple of years ago and had a chance to have a look down it and was like, oh my god, when these come out, I need one. So the fact that I then had an opportunity to pick one up at a reasonable price, yeah, I couldn't really say no. Right, sorry for that wobble. I had to plug my phone in. The battery was dying. So okay, let's skip to these final little bits of footage and have a look at the reticle pattern and things like that. Obviously, I've not done a review on this because I've only just got it and I'm unboxing it. I just wanted to show you like my first thoughts of it. Firstly, yeah, it's pretty wicked. It's pretty cool. But it also, it's got no issue with like blinding you, very much the same as the red one. So yeah, when people talk about EoTechs being like retina burningly bright, they're not lying to you. Like that's very, very true. These are both the red and the green options are very much daylight bright options, and they will, yeah. Oh no, see, it goes even brighter. Yeah, on these kind of brightnesses, like I reckon these could probably do a little bit of damage to your eyes. You can see how much the different colours are projecting forward, but that's not always what it's about. Sometimes it's just about looking cool. So let me know what you think, guys. Am I an idiot for having purchased this, or is it just really cool? And are you pleased to see it? So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and until the next time, take care. So it's quite hard to record, but hopefully this is through a 3x magnifier. Come on, see how crisp that is. Again, it's not quite the right height, but again, you can see how crisp that reticle is. Finally, this one is the fake, and you can see the haloing on it. So as you look through the Optic, I don't know why it's doing that, but you can see roughly how clear that glass is. I'll try and get it to focus somewhere else, then maybe that'll work. There we go. Now let me put the magnifier behind it. So now with the magnifier behind, hopefully, if it will just clean up. There we go. Oh wait, there we go. Beautiful. That's how it actually looks. So here's where I'd normally do some sort of like wrap up or conclusion, but you know, to be honest, I haven't taken it out yet. The glass is super clear, the reticle is very, very bright, albeit a little bit fuzzier. But as soon as you put this behind it, as you've sort of seen in those pictures, it really cleans up, and it's no different to the red. So I think this is probably how I'm going to have my setup. Obviously, there are going to be videos coming up of me modding this lower, because it's not going to stay like this. But I just wanted to bring this to you because I thought it was really cool, and actually a lot of real shooters will probably be quite interested in some of the things that I had to say here. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, leave a like. If not, sorry. And until the next time, take care.